Evening. Hello. Happy Sunday. How is everyone today? Hope everyone's had a really good week despite everything. This is a show where we don't talk about everything though, because we don't want to depress people.
Yeah.
So hope everyone's well. I'm Claire from Wigan and Box Promotions. This is Stu.
Hello, I'm Stu from Punka.
And this is our music show. We do this now every Sunday. It's putting LGBT plus Q plus performers at the forefront. And we're just really excited to be doing this. So, Stu, how was your week?
It was okay, ups and downs. Like, not to go into too much detail, but sort of my mental health was a bit shit midweek, and now I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. Just had one of those couple of days, but yeah, feeling good. Really excited about tonight. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm always a roller coaster of emotion, and I think you know that. But yeah, all good tonight. On the pint of water and the wine, so hoping I'm not going to get. I just said I got far too giddy because I haven't actually spoke to Jada through camera stuff.
Yeah,
like through the whole of lockdown, we constantly do voice messages and stuff. And then I just got really giddy because I just saw, one of my fam. So that was pretty lovely.
Yeah, I'm very excited about chatting to Jada later on. It's going to be good.
So, yes, as we said, it's a music show. So, without further ado, Stu, do you want to introduce the first band?
Yeah, so before I do that, there's something that I forgot to do last time, so I just have to mention this first. So quite a few months ago, I was interviewed by basically some punks who run a zine. If you don't know what a zine is, it's kind of like I guess like a very DIY little magazine. They used to be really popular in the 90s. They were always
I was going to say, if you don't know what a zine is, we're sorry. Again, we're old.
Yeah, showing your age. Yeah, so they were very popular in the 90s and still are in terms of for Riot Girl bands and DIY punk bands. But I was in Suspect Device, issue 64. There it is. And it says Punka there. And I just wanted to give them a shout out because they did a really, really nice feature on my club night and my gigs. And they also introduced the menstrual cramps in their magazine as well, who also said really nice things about Punka, so thank you to them as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I completely forgot last episode. But anyway, so first music video. So this is a band that got in touch with Punka with my Instagram. I can't remember what post I put out, but it was just, giving a call out for bands or just basically saying what we do. And Armada of Secrets got in touch and said that they would like to either come and perform at Punka or they just liked what I was doing. So I jumped at the chance of trying to get them onto this show. And recently they did a cover of a very famous song, which I don't think needs any introduction. So this is a duo from London. This is a very, very cool cover. They've got some ridiculous talent. So yeah, this is Armada of Secrets. Check it out.
White shirt, now red, my blood and no sleeping. You're on your tippy toes creeping around like no one else. Think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you, oh please. I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy. Just always so proud guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type. Make your girlfriend mad type. Must have just a dead type. I'm the bad guy.
Duh.
I'm the bad guy. I like it when you take control, even if you know that you don't own me. I'll let you play the role. I'll be your animal. Cause you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy. This always so proud guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your papa mad type, my sickness your dad type. I'm the bad guy.
How
So
was that?
pretty great, pretty good opener there.
Yeah,
Let's say we don't spoil you.
So yeah, obviously that was a Billie Eilish cover of a Bad Guy by Armada of Secrets. We put their link in the chat, but also some of their music is going to go onto a playlist that I put together on the Punka Spotify. So look out for that because it's got songs from each episode there, so you can follow it and keep up to date.
Cool. Yeah, that's organisation, folks. I had nothing to do with it. That's why it works. So coming up, I am a huge fan of grime. It's one of my favourite things to come out of the UK in the last probably 15 years. I obviously am a punk at heart. I absolutely love punk music, and I see the modern day kind of punk music is grime music. It's music from a lot of the time working class people, which I'm not going to get on my soapbox about the importance of that right now, but it's fantastic music that really kind of has a different kind of beating heart of the UK that probably Americans wouldn't see usually. And with obviously people like Stormzy getting bigger and things like that over there, the scene's exploded even more in the last few years. I'm so aware of how old I sound right now, but I really I really like grime. I bore people to death about different artists, and this next artist I very much admire the hustle, said that they really wanted to be involved in this show, but that they wanted to direct people to their YouTube channel, which I think is perfect. So they did a couple of little trailers for us. So Carnage Kills is on Instagram. Carnage makes incredible grime music, but is also a member of the LGBTQ community and has a really funny show at the moment on their YouTube channel as well. Like a talk show that's just brilliant and really funny. But yeah, this is the first trailer for Carnage Kills.
I fuck with him if he rich, but niggas can't give me dick. I fuck around, get the money, open the whip, then I dip. If he ain't got nothing for me, then why would I let him hit? Ain't over here making hits, then over there doing bits. Don't want me to cause a scene, it's niggas that make me skits. I'm pretty and I'm supreme, should model for Maybelline, or maybe cover a Vogue. Right now I settle for teen, he better talk to me nice, or he ain't getting his dream. What you mean?
So as you can see, that was a little taster, but I've even managed to get Stu even was in on that.
Yeah, grime is always my thing, but I love that. I think it's great.
I also think at the moment it's so important for artists to be able to do things like say, hey, I want to be showcased on this thing, but you need to be giving me something in return. And I think we found that as promoters lately online, it's really hard to get people to watch your stuff at the moment. Everyone is watching things in such strange ways. They're kind of treating us like Netflix, or they're treating your music kind of they expect a lot for free. So to be able to be I want to do this, but this is how I'm going to market myself, it's just it's really clever to be able to be like that. And also to be able to produce videos that Carnage has in the last, I first started listening to them in 2018, so what's that, 2 years ago now. They're annoyingly young. They're 23. I hate that. I hate talented people at young ages. It doesn't feel fair, but that's the case. So here's our second one from Carnage Kills. Do look up their YouTube channel. Like I said, the music is absolutely incredible. They've got a mixtape as well available on Spotify that's just really fucking good. It's funny. It's political. It's brilliant. And yeah, they've also got this talk show on there as well on their YouTube channel. So it's well worth subscribing. Definitely subscribe, because obviously that's how people can make their money off YouTube. So yeah, here is the second video, little teaser trailer from Carnage Kills.
I got this shit handled, got these two shoes, niggas just bore me. I'm a high class kind of bitch, never give a shit, never slip. That's like all these niggas riding on my dick. Got the whip, got the 4-door, easy for my bitches when they sit. Give me more and more, looking for somebody with a drip. Lick, pun and tip, dance, pop a lick. If I boy want warm and ready for take a lick. I just want good vibes, you know, have a good time. I don't need your girlfriend messing up my good wine. She's so never die, I'm worth 10 of that. Always wanna act up, then they wanna pedal back. I'ma let the hurt go down with the yak. Smiley your face while they aim for your back.
So I believe that video was actually filmed this week and uploaded this week. So do, like I said, head on over. I'm going to pop it in the YouTube, in the chat now, the YouTube channel. But yeah, check out Carnage Kills, follow them on everything, because they're just like one to watch, and they're so fucking good, to be quite honest. So yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. So for this episode, we wanted to do something a little bit different. And because we've been talking about the music that we've been listening to, and obviously we've been asking our guests previously what they've been listening to in lockdown. Obviously, everyone else is also watching, films, TV shows and documentaries. We wanted to actually recommend some music documentaries because we are a music show. So we wanted to recommend some that you might not have seen, you might not have heard of, but are either on streaming platforms or on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch them at your leisure and maybe discover some new artists as well. So, Claire, do you want to go first with your first one?
Oh, yes. I didn't expect you to say me first. So my first one is a documentary called My Mic Sounds Nice, and it's My Mic Sounds Nice, The Truth About Women in Hip Hop. It came out in like 2010. It's got people like Missy Elliott, Eve, Trina, like lots of the kind of old school legends of female hip hop. It's basically about how women in hip hop don't get the push that men do, and it's a really interesting look into that side of the music industry. It's like 10 years old now, and unfortunately not much has changed. One thing that I loved about the rise of Lizzo in the last few years is Prince actually had Lizzo on like his EP, like I think 2014, and she only blew up last year. And like the way in which men blow up in the hip hop industry after being sampled by someone, or like after like their rhymes have been pushed by, say, Jay-Z or someone like that, or someone as iconic as Prince, they will get a kind of trajectory that's like really fast. Right. Whereas women in hip hop, it's constantly a struggle to kind of get out there and to be taken seriously. Like in recent years, we've had things like Love and Hip Hop, which is a reality TV show, which is what was kind of thanks to Cardi B getting massive, and things like that. So that like there's non-traditional routes now, but this documentary is just so interesting. And just listening to like Missy Elliott talk about like her first, like the first time she wrote a rhyme and things like that, and like being really humble as well, and like being a voice for like the kind of the next generation is really refreshing. And I know that Salt and Pepper like had something to do with the documentary as well. So like nice. It's full of icons basically, and I can't recommend it enough. And I know that I watched it on YouTube, so I know you can stream it. But yeah, if you want to watch that, it's called My Mic Sounds Nice, and it's the truth about women in hip hop.
That sounds amazing. It's one of those sort of like, you know, women need to like pay their dues kind of thing.
Men don't like. They just need to be talented or not talented.
Yeah,
like.
Exactly. Yeah, well, who would have thought it? And I mean, it's got Missy Elliott in, so I'm sold. I'm definitely watching that. So my first one that I would recommend, if you've got a pen and paper, write these down. But obviously, we will put them on social media. But on BBC iPlayer to watch for free. Is a documentary about Kate Nash, which is called Underestimate the Girl. And it's basically kind of chronicling her rise to fame, but then also what happened afterwards when she tried to basically make punk rock music. And as soon as she did that and changed her style, her label dropped her, and she was no longer a sort of hot commodity. And so she created her own band. She, put a band together of all female artists, and made an album through Kickstarter, and just basically is now a DIY performer. She is, on her own label. She releases things when she wants to. Obviously, she's on Glow as well now, but the way the documentary is filmed, you sort of get to see a lot of hardship that she goes through, but it's actually ridiculously uplifting at the end. So even if you're not a fan of her music, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very, very good documentary. It's well made and it's quite a lot of fun, but yeah, it's quite uplifting at the end. So yeah, that's my first pick.
What's it called again?
It's called Underestimate the Girl.
Underestimate the Girl.
Which is a song that she wrote. That song has a story to it. Basically, it was something that they wrote in 24 hours with a group of young girls that she was trying to help become musicians. So that's where the title came from, basically.
Cool. Also, she's in the Horrible History film, which is really funny. Different level of kind of film, but I loved it. I went to see it with my niece. It was brilliant. So my next one is the Know Me song, which is about Klaus Nomi. I'm a massive fan of Klaus Nomi. I know Dis is currently in the chat and is also a massive fan of Klaus Nomi. Klaus Nomi was a avant-garde singer, kind of operatic singer that got kind of in the kind of queer punk scene in like the late 70s and 80s. This documentary is an absolutely amazing slice of kind of that side of the scene. It's also quite a sad tale because obviously Klaus Nomi died of AIDS. It's a really interesting documentary in that side of things as well. I find that now the last 8 years, we've actually had some really interesting documentaries that have come out that kind of are a lot more honest and raw about that time, because people have had time to process, and the gay community has healed somewhat from that time and are able to tell their stories. And this is one of those stories, and it's really, really interesting. Klaus himself was just such an amazing artist, worked with people like Bowie. Bowie stole quite a lot from Klaus. You will have seen on like Drag Race, if you watch Drag Race, Courtney Act's done a Klaus look. Lots of them do Klaus looks. It's because he's just an absolute icon, and the way in which they kind of carried themselves was unlike anything we'd kind of seen in the club kid scene before.
Sure.
So yeah, it's absolutely like incredible watch, but it's on YouTube. I watched it with like German subtitles or whatever, but it's a very, very good documentary. I can't recommend it enough.
Nice.
A muff? I'm thinking of muffs.
And on that note, these the two documentaries that I'm about to talk about are kind of interlinked in a way, and you'll see why. So basically, everyone loves an underdog story, and I really love to sort of see the other side of other people's tours. So I like to see sort of behind the scenes of people's tours and their touring bands and things like that. But there's two documentaries out there. The first one is called 20 Feet from Stardom, and that's with a 20 at the beginning. 20 Feet from Stardom is on Netflix at the minute, if you have Netflix. And that is about sort of black backing singers, and some incredibly famous ones as well. People like Mary Clayton, who was the sort of backing singer on Gimme Shelter for Rolling Stones. And obviously she released her own version of that, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. But 20 Feet from Stardom is basically about people who are either not in the limelight, but obviously are very close to the limelight, and you see them in all their glory on stage, but also some people who are quite happy to be a backing singer and quite enjoy, being part of that range, being part of the, the sort of ensemble. And then some people who are using it as a step up to get their own career. So it's a really nice documentary. It's very well done, and the singers are incredible. On the same note, there is a documentary on Amazon Prime called Hired Gun, and that is basically about a similar kind of thing. It's about backing bands. It's about session musicians who tour with people like, Bon Jovi, Kiss, Pink, Alice Cooper, people like that, who you see on stage who are not part of anyone's band. They're just hired because they're ridiculously good at what they do. They're also hired session musicians, so they've played on, some of the most famous songs ever written and ever recorded, but you've never seen them before. You don't know who they are, and it's incredibly interesting to just hear their stories and see their homes and see the gold discs that are on the walls from bands that they've never been in. So yeah, it's a really, really good documentary. They're both really good underdog stories. So if you like that kind of thing, yeah, Netflix, Amazon Prime, check out those two.
Cool. If you know me, you know that Patti Smith is life, and my God.
Absolute life.
So Patti Smith, Dream of Life is another documentary. If you haven't seen it, it's about Patti Smith basically dealing with getting older, a lot of her friends, husband, people passing away, and kind of her processing that, but also how she kind of uses her poetry and uses her artistry to help with that. And also I love Patti Smith because Patti Smith's someone who never really wore makeup, never prescribed to that kind of female front, like what you're meant to look like as a female in a band. Patti's always made her own way, has always been she quit to bring up her children. She decided just to do books on poetry. Then she came back. She's absolute fucking ledge.
Yeah.
I made an absolute fool of myself when I met her. But Dream of Life is one of my favorite documentaries. I watch it when it's one of my go-to films when I'm feeling a bit sad or it's such a good documentary. Again, you can watch it on YouTube for free. It's such a worthwhile watch. Just for her and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers talking about pissing in planes. That bit's brilliant.
Sounds good.
And then my last documentary recommendation is a documentary called The Believers, and it's about the first transgender gospel choir. It's really interesting. It talks about stuff that you wouldn't really think about as someone who isn't transgender. So the fact that choirs obviously segregate into men and women sections. There's a lot of people transitioning in this choir, so their range is changing. They want to be able to keep their voice to a certain standard, and it's basically them navigating how they create a gospel choir where they believe in God, etc., but they're transgender and the Christian belief systems, that whole can of worms. But mainly it talks about how their voices are so beautiful and how they manage to create this choir that's such a kind of beacon of hope for a lot of them. It reminds me a lot of Paris is Burning in its kind of tone. It lets them tell the story. It's a really worthwhile watch. Again, I just don't really watch things on streaming platforms that I have to pay for. So I watched that one on YouTube or Vimeo. I can't remember, but it's such a worthwhile documentary. So yeah, definitely check that one out.
It sounds amazing. My last one, in keeping with sort of my punker tastes, is a documentary called Hit So Hard, and it is also on Amazon Prime, and it's basically a documentary about Patti Chamel, who is I think I said her surname right, she's the drummer for Hole, the band Hole, Courtney Love's band, and it kind of chronicles their rise to fame and also when Patti joined the band, but it also goes quite in depth into Patti's drug use and her addiction, and also her coming out as queer. And it's just a really good documentary. There's some amazing sort of home footage of Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love that's not in any other medium as well. It's some footage that Patti has herself, because she was actually really close with Kurt Cobain. So that's a really, really good one to watch.
Where was that streamed? Sorry.
So that was on Amazon Prime, but I think I've seen it around on DVD. It's not that expensive, so it's definitely worth picking up. It's something that I do actually watch regularly. I quite like it. So yeah, it's definitely worth the watch, especially if you're a Hole fan, obviously, but also just as someone who's interested in just what goes on behind the scenes. Sometimes I just quite like seeing what happens in iconic bands. So yeah, it's a good one.
That's because you're nosy.
Yeah. Naturally nosy. I want to know the tea.
So, are we on to our third? I keep wanting to say act. You can tell I do cabaret. Are we on to our third act?
Yeah. So this act, they got in touch with me probably about a year and a half ago, and they got in touch with the Punka Facebook, and they wanted to play one of our gigs, a Punka gig. And as usual, I say yes, I'll get in touch and I'll let you know, and I'll pop you on a list. And I wait for the right kind of time. I wait for the right gig. I wait for the right lineup. And it took a little while. But last summer, we did a gig at the Crofters Rights in Bristol, and She Makes War was headlining. We had Fame Militia opening, and we had the Empty Page, who is the next band, come down from up north. And they were lovely. They're very, very dry sense of humour. They're really lovely people. They work really hard. And they just write incredible sort of rock grunge music. They're really great people. We had Discharge was the host of that night as well, so we got to sit and watch them together, and it was pretty amazing. So this next song, I will say it has a trigger content warning. Not because of the video. The video has not particularly anything that needs to trigger warning. It's just more of the actual lyrics themselves. The song is about sexual assault and rape. It's a very, very powerful song, and it's something that always gives me goosebumps whenever I hear it anyway. But obviously this is a trigger warning. If you do feel uncomfortable about it, just either, go and make yourself a brew, or, pop the sound down and then just pop back in 4 minutes. But I will say it is a bloody good song, and just check them out. This is the Empty Page, and this is called He's Very Good at Swimming.
Make your mind up, you're confused.
What a powerful song that is. Yeah, as obviously someone who's been very out with my experiences in the past, that song, it hits you right in the feels. So yeah, thanks Stu for introducing us to them.
Yeah, well,
Cheers, mate.
we do have another one of their songs. So they've sent us 2 music videos. Their other one is full of cats and kittens. So I thought we'd play this one first, and then in a couple of episodes' time, maybe we'll
treat you to that
one. Yeah, have a cat
so
video.
You may have realised that someone else has joined us. Woo! Family has joined us. We have the amazing Jada Love with us right now. This is, yeah, like I said, I'm giddy because I'm really bad at being on anything video cally if it isn't for work. So I haven't actually called Jada video, and now I'm regretting it because I'm acting like an excited idiot. Hi, Jada.
Hey, babe. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah. Good day. Good week.
Yeah, chilled week. Just chilling.
Earlier this week, you hosted rather well.
I did indeed. Cyber Teas, first time ever.
Yeah, it was really good. Cyber Teas, definitely follow them on Instagram. Their shows probably, well, it has been my favourite thing to watch. Obviously, other than Rose show, obviously.
Well, yeah. Cyber Teas is good though.
Cyber Teas is something else. Very unnecessary, I tell you, throughout that whole thing.
We know how unnecessary you get, Claire.
I get very unnecessary. But yeah, it was brilliant. So Jada, if you don't know, Jada is a incredible burlesque artist, but also does their own music, which is obviously what we're talking about today. So how have you been in lockdown? What have you been up to apart from everything ever?
Everything. Just being creative, doing a lot of videos. I've done a few shows online, live, pre-recorded, but mostly editing a lot. Doing a lot of filming at home and doing like some home projects as well, and just trying to bring out new material and something different every time. I don't like to be the same, if you haven't noticed. I like to try things.
Well, yeah, Jada's incredibly creative. So you've kind of been doing like your burlesque side of things, your stripping side of things, but then obviously you've also been doing your music kind of things. So should we talk a little bit about what music you've brought out? Because it's not just the video we have today. You've actually brought out quite a few bits and pieces over the last few months.
Yeah. I've done a few covers, which you can find on my Instagram. I took a break from singing for quite a while, probably because burlesque just took over. All the travelling, short sleeps, your voice, it doesn't do it very good, so I haven't sang, but it's been so refreshing in lockdown to be able to just come back to it and retrain my voice, learn new tones that I've seemed to be developed now. I used to be able to get higher, but I can't now, not at the minute. I just keep that nice mid-tone. But I've done a political one as well, another cover, changed the words a little bit.
Nice.
On that one,
And you were on our first episode as well with Discharge.
Yes, and that as well. Yeah, I've done a few covers. Like I'm going to be doing more with this as well.
Yeah.
So
exciting
for that. Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about doing covers and doing some original stuff. So.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. So what kind of music kind of influences you? Because you've kind of covered everything from Deftones to Sade and everything in between. So, what are your kind of inspirations?
I like all genres. I like a bit of everything. So if I hear a beat and I feel it, then I will normally write to it. Things will come straight to my head and I'll just autopilot and it'll be just written, and then I'll go back and be like, whoa, where did that come from? that's when I know it's going to be a really good tune for me.
Nice.
And it doesn't
how you
matter
write
what
lyrics?
genre it is.
Is that like your process in writing lyrics? Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I like
Disconnect.
to listen to a lot of different things. I do like a lot of neo soul. I like jazz. I like a bit of blues. I like your more moody styles of
Yeah.
genres. Yeah.
Well, you got your horror side. We know that. We know you like
it's
your
probably where it comes
moody and your
in.
horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking because behind the scenes we were talking about like queer stories and kind of like what your queer story is. 'Cause I've never heard yours.
Same.
Because obviously we kind of talked because we came out quite late, the two of us. So just say what you said before because it was brilliant. Just
I don't really have a queer story. I was just like, I'm here, I'm queer, and you'll fucking take me as I am, basically. That was it with my family, my friends, work colleagues, anyone. It's like, you take me for what I am, and if you don't, get the fuck out of my face, because I am.
And I think that's really refreshing to hear because like so many of us worry so much about that moment where we're like, oh, I'm going to come out to my family or I'm going to come out to my friends or whatever. But just to be able to be like, fuck it, this is just me. Like personally, that's how I kind of lived my life for the last 2 years. But the 10 years before that was just kind of living in secret, and that's just no one. It's not the way to be.
No, I was very much. Yeah, from as soon as I was sexual and like attracted to people, I was just out there, and I was like, I didn't question it. It was like, I like that. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, let's just go with it. I think my sister, one of my sisters, was the one that brought me out to my dad, and my dad's response was, "Well, that's just Stacey." So like,
yeah,
accepted.
that's an amazing
just accepted. I mean, my mum was like, oh yeah, it's a little, I think it's a phase, when I was about 14, 15. Oh, it's just a phase, I'm like, no, it really isn't.
No, it's not. I'm very, very not. Yeah.
No, and now I'm married.
Good.
Do you know what I mean? Married, trans, non-binary, wife, and like, yeah.
Yeah, we all know that Jada and Ro are fucking couples goals. They're annoyingly so. Whenever you see, if you can, tune into anything they're putting on at the moment, like both of them separately, but their duets just every time just get well. How I met you guys was through obviously doing the Prince night that I put on.
Yes.
And
unnecessary.
And how I met you as well was at Boomtown. We were at Boomtown together last year, and I got to see your acts, like, you know, obviously constantly. We're, you know, throughout the sort of 3 nights.
The whole time we were there, yeah.
And we had to sort of repeat the show a couple of times, you know, every sort of hour or so. And every time,
I gave you the camera, didn't I? I gave you the camera when I did the cat one. I was like, right, I'm going to go through the crowd. Take the camera, yeah.
And you did, like, fair play. Hands and knees went through the crowd, scared the crap out of everyone. Loads of people were like, what was that? And then she sort of converged on the stage, and I was like, oh god, get the angle, and people were still freaking out, like, looking for you. And I've got to say, every time you and Romeo Dela Cruz performed, I was on the side of the stage and could not take my fucking eyes off you. It's it is honestly, it is magical, and I'm really, really glad that I got to meet you like that, because obviously I'd heard about you both from Claire. So it was quite weird, sort of meeting separately and then being like, oh yeah, we all share this world together.
Yeah, and then all together.
But then, I think as well, something we can chat about is queer family, because Jada's obviously part of our queer family, as is Romeo Dela Cruz. Ro always tells me off because I don't say Romeo Dela Cruz, but Romeo Dela Cruz. Mariana, we all see each other as family, and there's a reason, and obviously Delirium as well. Like, that's such an important part of queer life. It's kind of, even though we've had this lockdown, we haven't been able to see each other and all those things, I feel like we keep it going through WhatsApp and stuff like that. But also, like, that bond is so strong. And I think as queer people, we kind of...
Yeah, definitely.
it's really important. And I think this individualistic kind of way people are being at the moment, like, I don't know if it's age or what it is, but like, it's really important for me to have that kind of little building block of family.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you've
Definitely
had like,
important.
you've got fucking siblings, like drag siblings and sons and daughters. You guys like taking all the waifs and strays. Much.
Yeah,
So, like, I think
we've got our queer family all spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere we've been, we've got our queer family there. So
Yeah.
it's nice. It's just nice to know you got loads of people that, you know, you're involved with, you're supportive of each other, you got a connection. You cannot maybe speak for ages, but then when you do, it's like you never was
like
away.
you've never been away.
You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think
And
that's yeah.
also you kind of evolve together as well. I feel
Yeah.
like this time has definitely made me realize that, because like obviously myself and Dis have worked together. Me and you have worked together on the cover for the video we're going to show.
Yes.
So creatively,
you did such an amazing job. So thank you so much. It's beautiful.
but like that's the thing. Like you kind of grow together, and I think it's such a beautiful thing as a queer family, and it's so nice to be able
Definitely.
to put a platform there for our family. I think Stu, you'll agree. It's been
agree.
great.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the video that we're about to see. Tell us how you and your sister came to make it, like how the video was made, and tell us everything.
Wow. So my sister does music production and has been doing beats and making songs for years and years and years. We have collabed before, years and years and years ago. But she came to me with a track and said, "Oh, I've got this. What do you say?" I was like, "Okay, let me see what you've got." And she sent me lyrics. I sent my thoughts, and we decided to go ahead with it. So we've basically done this. She lives in Australia, so it's all been through WhatsApp, our communication, and Google Drive, where we put everything onto Google Drive. And I have Logic Pro, she has Logic Pro, obviously, and I've been sending my stuff to her so that she can mix it down. And where the video is concerned, I've put my ideas across to her, and we've mixed ideas, and this is the product of that. Do
you want to intro your video?
I'll let the track and the video speak for itself, but it's called Raining Fear.
Oh yeah. Here, so glad you're here. So glad you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside. It's raining fear. It's raining fear. Here, so glad you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside. It's raining fear. It's raining fear. I'm sick of being humble. Say my pain's just trouble. Is that because I'm too good at being a leader? Fix my style, change my face. Don't get mad, stay silent. Hold down the pain, 'cause it can blow if I get triggered. And things are getting critical and falling through the cracks. Makes life feel so clinical how I can change this evil that is spreading. Time is passing us by, I can hear the cries. My people out there all disappearing. Everything is spinning, I just can't get a grip. In the distance I hear singing, I feel I'm starting to slip. I'm reaching out to find someone to pull me out of this hole. But out there in the darkness, there'll be no one left to hold. Here, so glad you're here, so glad you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside, it's raining fear, it's raining fear. Here, so glad you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside, it's raining fear, it's raining fear. Here, so glad you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside, it's raining fear, it's raining fear. Here, so glad you're here, you're here. 'Cause there's a storm outside, it's raining fear.
How good was that?
So
Honest.
good. It's such a perfect, like, it just reminds me of like 90s R&B like jam. I love it.
You
Oh,
be so
thank you
proud
so
of that.
much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and the fact that you two did it through like WhatsApp is
I know.
incredible. What the things that are possible now over the internet. Who like,
You don't even need to be in the same space. Do you know
No.
what I mean? If you have
And
the
it's such
same
a strange-
backdrops, it's easy to kind of make it feel like you're in the same place. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, and also like that creative process of not being in the same place sometimes I think might help, because you don't get into the kind of arguments or the kind of chats that you would if the person was in front of you. You can kind of take a minute when you're like, that's not how I want it done. You're like, okay, how would you like it?
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I absolutely love that song. Do check both of them out. I will be posting everyone's links in the chat. Obviously follow them on Instagram. It's probably the best place, would you say, Jada, to see what you're up to?
Definitely, and for Kazia, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And that track's going to be released at some point quite soon.
Yes, quite soon. So keep an eye out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll let everyone know as soon as it's released so they can go and buy it.
Yeah, if you keep an eye out on both of our Instagrams as well, you'll be notified when it's going to be released.
Mm. And obviously that brings us to the artwork for the single.
Yes,
which
the
I've been-
amazing.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the artwork, I have my own visual art. I did an art degree. I want to make it seem like it was for a reason, not that I'll ever pay back that fee, because I don't earn any money.
I'm in the same boat.
Let's try and make it worth something. So yeah, if you follow Invisible Pentacle, it's very gothic kind of art that I do.
Beautiful art.
Thank you. But I'm working on quite a few different album covers for people at the moment, and obviously I did that for Jada and Kezia, and I really enjoyed it as well. That process it's really interesting as well, just working with different people's faces and all that kind of stuff, and working out how different skin tones and things like that, and how racist weirdly Snapseed is. I had a weird experience of being like, oh, I realize now how awful taking photos as a black person must be, because they're really badly like dumb for white people. Like if you look at the
Really?
anyway, it's shit. So I had to like do quite a lot of stuff to kind of counteract that. So if anyone can come up with an app that means that that doesn't happen, that would be amazing. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure working on those kind of things because it's just so interesting. I think I've said to Jada before, Jada's like my muse. I've done loads of pictures of Jada now, and I've
I
got
was
loads
just
more.
coming to that. You've done your tarot.
Yeah,
You've done
doing my tarot
readings, and
yeah, I'm going to
put
be
the
doing my
cards over me.
I'm going to be doing a whole tarot set actually, and I'll be using different people, and Jada will probably want to be one of the models. I haven't
So the
asked yet.
picture's actually up on the feed now, so everyone can see the artwork. So we're actually looking at the artwork now. That's
Well, thanks, Jamie. You're wonderful. Thank you. But yeah, so please do follow me on there. A little plug for myself, but do follow Jada, and I'm just about to put Kezia's up as well, because you will find out where you can find everyone through their Instagrams.
Amazing. Right, that's pretty much us at the end of the show. That's
an amazing
that's episode
show.
3.
Amazing.
Yeah, episode 3 done and dusted. So we are going to be back. I believe it's the 2nd of August. Yeah,
2nd of August. Don't know the lineup yet.
We do and we don't. We've got a lot of videos to decide on.
Yeah, there's a few videos. We are right. Let's do our thank yous because I always forget who we've had. So, Stu, your thank yous today, please.
Yeah, obviously, I want to give a massive shout out to Armada of Secrets and the Empty Page, who have both contacted me and sent us those incredible videos. So yeah, check them out and make sure you follow them. And as I always say on this show as well, if you have things like Spotify, make sure that you put these artists into your Spotify playlist. It creates a ripple effect, and it means that lots of people get to see them, but it also means that they get paid. So make sure that if you appreciate their art, that you go and find it and you go and listen to it and just appreciate them. Over to you, Claire, for your thank yous.
So Carnage Kills, obviously we were directing you to their YouTube page. I absolutely love that artist. I cannot wait to be able to see them live, but at the moment their YouTube page is fantastic. Obviously, thank you very much to Jada for not only joining us, but for just providing us with me personally a lot of light in this time and just being the person you are. Thank you.
We love you.
And thank you to oh, we'll have you anytime. Well, I have you every show in some form, so I'm sure we'll have you again. And thank you to our white knight that is Jamie, who does all our tech for us, and it swears at me every single time I do this, but thank you, Jamie, because you're a ledge. Thank you. So yeah, that's the end of this. Happy Sunday, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 Sundays' time. Let's see what that brings.
Bye. Take care.